It's 12 o'clock. Time for the news. Good afternoon. You are listening to MediaPlex News Radio, and I'm Laurie Harrison. In our top story today, the Windsor-Essex opioid strategy has just been released. Officials say no single approach will fully address the opioid epidemic here and across the country. They're calling for more education, more access to naloxone kits, and a better response to overdoses. In other news, right now there are no elected Liberals in Windsor, provincially or federally. But as Sanjay Morrow reports, one of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's cabinet ministers was here last week looking to change that.
It was a chance for local Liberals to meet with Minister Navdeep Bains at the Fogalar Furling Club Thursday night. He was here talking about issues related to his federal portfolio, innovation, science, and economic development. Bains says his government is focused on strengthening the working class.
Focus on significant investments in infrastructure, $180 billion over the next 10 years, reducing the tax rate for middle-class Canadians by 7%, introducing the Canada Child Benefit, but also making a big bet on innovation.
University of Windsor law student Benison Smith, this was an opportunity to see the minister in person.
I find Minister Bains to be one of the more articulate ministers. I find he speaks very well on issues, and he always has a really interesting perspective on his portfolio and on the current goings-ons of the government.
Bains says Canada needs a greater commitment to innovation to develop more successful businesses here.
And the feedback we're getting is be very focused and bet big. We're working on some strategies like artificial intelligence, for example, and machine learning.
Bains describes these sectors as opportunities for Canada to be a global leader. For MediaPlex News, I'm Sanjay Morrow.
Moving on to sports, the Windsor Spitfires lost their game in London last night, 5-2, and are hoping to break their 4-game losing streak at home tonight against Guelph. That game starts at 7:30. In basketball, the Windsor Express take on St. John's tomorrow night at the WSU Center, starting at 7, and the Detroit Pistons are playing the Washington Wizards at 8 o'clock tonight at the new Little Caesars Arena. Let's take a look at what's happening around Windsor-Essex. He says he's sorry. The 13-year-old boy who set a Tecumseh playground on fire in October has written a letter of apology to the community. He says he has learned to always think twice before doing something. He also says when he started the fire, he thought it was just going to be a small fire and he could have a little fun, but that didn't happen. The fire caused $400,000 in damages to an accessible playground. He hopes that everyone can understand how sorry he is. The deer call continues. Point Pelee will remain closed until January 26th. At last count, there were 103 deer in the park. Their goal is to get the deer count population down to 30. That would be the number that could be reasonably sustained by the ecosystem there. Windsor residents had a chance to have a coffee with a cop yesterday. It was a planned event by police to connect better with people downtown. Kush Mandirati has the story.
This is the 4th time Windsor police have held coffee with a cop. This time it was held at Coffee Exchange from 10 to 1 yesterday. They were talking with residents about their work and listening to the concerns of the Windsorites. Sergeant Steve Betteridge is the Public Information Officer for Windsor Police.
It's kind of a cold day today, which is perfect for a coffee. Come in and you get to meet our officers, discuss things one-on-one, where that officer is not tied up in an active investigation. They actually have the time to talk to someone.
The event was full with police officers and Windsorites. Last year, police went to other parts of the city. For MediaPlex News, I'm Kush Mandirata.
Now here's a look at weather. Here's a look at your 3-day forecast. Today will be sunny with a high of 2. Saturday, partly cloudy with a high of 6. And Sunday, rainy with a high of 5. In entertainment news, Betty White turned 96 on January 17th. She said her secret to a long life is to enjoy life. Accentuate the positive, not the negative. Oh, and her love for vodka and hot dogs was mentioned as well. The Bare Naked Ladies are being inducted into the Canadian Hall of Fame, where former member Stephen Page will temporarily reunite with his bandmate for the honor. I'm Laurie Harrison, and you've been listening to MediaPlex Radio.